Hey Sagittarius, I've got your cards ready, so let's get to it. Pardon me. So, the first card that you received is the underlying theme or the overarching energy of the second half of the month, and this is the King of Pentacles in reverse. Now, I find synchronicity very interesting. The Pentacles represent earth signs, and the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. I find the synchronicity interesting because we are about to experience a full moon in Taurus. It could be that you are feeling as though your finances or resources in some way are not exactly in the most balanced of you may just feel like there is an imbalance in your resources or in your money in your checking account. The full moon at 22 degrees of Taurus is occurring in your 6th house of work and health. You could be feeling either under the weather or like you want a raise or need more hours or might be looking for part-time work to help boost your income or salary in some way. Pardon me. This King of Pentacles is normally very mature about his resources, but because this is dealing with work and health type situation, especially with the full moon being in the 6th house, which is governed by Virgo, which covers your work and health or the competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. If you aren't feeling under the weather and you aren't all that upset about work, it could be that you may be thinking about taking on a class or something as well that may cost more than you're willing to spend right now at the holiday season to help boost your earning ability in some way. Like I said, underlying theme, overarching energy, however you choose to see it. It could be how you're approaching the second half of the month with the King of Pentacles in reverse. That could be how you're feeling, or someone close to you. Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn is who represents the Pentacles. The Pentacles are also resources that you could spend on another human being, living thing, or situation that you care about. Resources would be money, health. Health is the biggest resource that we have, but it also speaks to like time, devotion, nurturing, that sort of thing. So just to give you an idea. The Empress is what represents the present for you, and she's in the upright, so that's a good sign. I really feel like this is indicative of the time period of the full moon because of now the Pentacle and the glyph that represents Taurus, also Libra, but this Venus symbol right here. So yeah, I think this speaks to around the full moon energy, which is right around the time that this is being filmed because my other videos wanted to not be very cooperative with me in the upload process, so reshooting. This is the third card of the major arcana. The 3 for me represents the 3rd astrological house, which is ruled by the zodiac sign of Gemini, and it speaks to your communication, your short distance journeys, and your siblings, cousins, or neighbors. Communications can be your commute to work, how you get from point A to point B, but it can also be the communication devices that you use to get your message out into the world or to communicate with others. It could also be how you are being interpreted or how others interpret you. The fact that it's in the upright means that you're being gracious in most things. I would like to say that you are being gracious in your communications because of this card being in the present right here. We do have Venus moving into your 2nd house. That just occurred yesterday. So, could be getting some information about money in some way. And the fact that it's in the upright is, I would believe, good news more often than not for y'all, because this is a general reading. The Empress card by itself is representative of the planet Venus. The planet Venus just moved into Capricorn, and that's your 2nd house. Venus as a planet represents love, harmony, and beauty, also resources and money. The Empress card speaks to abundance and being able to produce things, or you may be feeling artsy craftsy as well. The second card that I pulled for you is another major arcana card, and it is in the upright as well. This represents the past. This is a Hierophant. The Hierophant is the 5th card in the major arcana. The 5 for me represents the Leo ruled house of your pleasure, your social life, your children, and your creativity, creations, creative endeavors, creative pursuits. This is also the house of romance, dating, and where you fall in love and where you make your babies. Now, this card in itself, the Hierophant card, is representative of okay, y'all. This is definitely speaking about the full moon. The Hierophant's representative of the zodiac sign Taurus, which is known for being determined and even bullheaded, like a bull in a china shop, those kind of things, walking like a bull, heavy-footed. This card can represent dealing with authority figures, and it can also be like the searching for knowledge in some way. The fact that it's in the past could be that you are having a look at your values from possible childhood and are seeing that they aren't lining up with where you are now, or seeing that there's been a deviation, or not in a bad way deviation like deviant, but just an off course, a different path taken, and that's fine. And I say that because of the 3rd card that I pulled for you, and it is another major arcana card. Of the 6 cards that I pulled for you, the first 3 in the spread, actual first 3, not including the underlying theme, were major arcana, so it could feel like you are unbalanced. It could also feel like some things are just out of your control. But yeah, the 3rd card that I pulled for you, which represents the obstacle, is the Chariot. The Chariot, for me, whenever I see this card, I think of the duplicitous signs because of, well, like Gemini has the twins, Libra has the 2 scales, and Pisces has the 2 fish. Those are the duplicitous signs for me, where they have one side or another, or they have a hard time finding the balance. It could be that you are having a hard time finding balance between your self-esteem and the money that you're bringing in, or something to that effect. Because aside from these major arcana cards, it's all pentacles on the other side, and we'll get to those in just a second. The Chariot is the 7th card of the major arcana. The 7 for me represents the Libra ruled house of your partnerships, how you identify with others. It's counseling. It's dealing with open enemies. So yeah, it could be dealing with a Libra as well. And isn't it funny that Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus, so you could really be dealing with somebody who has some strong Taurian or Libran energy, because this is the Taurus full moon, but you're getting a lot of Libra play out as well in these cards for me. The Chariot traditionally represents Cancer. I can't really tell you why it's traditionally, it's just the way that I learned it, was that it was representative of Cancer. I think it's because of these little shoulder pads that look like crescent moons right here. When I think of the Chariot, I think of a mode of transportation, and that makes me think of the 3rd house, and also Gemini, the duplicitous again. So it could be dealing with communication in partnerships. It could be dealing with traveling, or partners traveling, something to that effect. You could be traveling, or you could be thinking about traveling for money or traveling for work, looking at your money that way, if it's worth it or not. But this card in itself is about like achievement through self-mastery, and making the right decision, choosing the right path. The fact that it's in the upright makes me feel like it is the right path, whatever it is that you choose. And it's difficult because with it being, with this being in the obstacle position, it could be that you're dealing with someone who is being difficult, that's in the Libra variety, or Gemini, like I said. Could be Cancer because of how this is traditionally seen as well. I feel like the obstacle is dealing with a Libra. It's more a zodiac sign than what this card represents, is what I'm thinking. Now, the 4th card that I pulled for you is the Five of Pentacles upright, and this is like a poverty card. This is not having enough money. This is or you've spent it all, or you were planning on there being money and it's not come in yet. Another way that I read this card is also a card of how do I want to put this? It's a card of inequality, but it's also a card of seeing your, how do I put this? These two individuals are going through the same thing. They're both out in the cold. She is walking on 2 feet and is looking down. He is got a broke foot or something on crutches and looking up. They're going through the same thing, but their perspective is different. That's what I was trying to say. It's a card of different perspectives and a card of different experiences. You can be going through the same thing, but your memory of it will be different than somebody who experienced it right next to you. We're all human beings. We see things and perceive things. We remember things differently. Once again, these pentacles represent the earth signs. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Venus just moved into Capricorn. You could be once again getting money or getting messages about money. It could be that you are looking for some help in the money area, because this is the help situation. Maybe going to church as well, because this is a stained glass window. And the Hierophant also represents like religious authority as well. The 5 is going back. It's mirroring the Hierophant, as a matter of fact. The 5, you've got 2 5s here, and that's the Leo ruled house of your social life and your pleasures, your children. You may be meeting somebody at church, possibly. Or you may be looking at your values through church, or get something through the church or spiritual community, not just a church. You know, I mean, some people would consider this their church. It all really depends on how you view things. I don't consider myself a preacher or a pastor, but, you know, we each have our own paths, and I'm just going to leave it at that. As Sagittarians, I think you can understand where I'm going at with that. But yeah, just watch your perspective and understand that it's going to be yours and yours alone, and that other people are going to have a different experience than you, even though they were right there with you. The possible outcome, once again, I really feel like this is dealing with a Libra as well, because now we've got the scale showing up here. You see? And it's, once again, sorry, I had to move my little table I got this on. This was in reverse. Okay, so it's like you're feeling unbalanced in your money or resource area. It could be due to or dealing with a Libra in some way. This is the 6, once again, dealing with work and health, or the competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. If you aren't dealing with a Libra, it could be that you're possibly wanting to go back to school and getting more skills to add to your little resume, which would be nice, but you're not sure how you're going to pay for it, which is why it's in the reverse as well. If it's not Major Arcana, it's Pentacles cards, y'all. So that's just the way that it goes. The 6 is, like I said, the house of work and health, or the competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide, but it's ruled by Virgo, so that may mean something to some of y'all. I did the math for this spread, and it totaled up to 26. 2 plus 6 is 8, and that is the Scorpio ruled house of other people's money, regeneration, transformation, metamorphosis. It's also the house of sexuality. It's the house of your instincts. That can be primal, basic, or just human instinct. It could also be the cycle of life, death, or rebirth, possible birth. With the Empress being in the middle of the spread, I would like to tell you that, I mean, she's a very fertile card, so be careful if you aren't looking to get pregnant. That could possibly be a situation with a lot of these Pentacle cards in reverse. It could be you get a surprise that you weren't expecting, and you're like, oh, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to be able to do this? I'm already juggling everything else. Just forewarned is forearmed. I would like to empower you with as much information as possible, and I give you what I see. Now, I also pulled 2 oracle cards for you from the Journey of Love. The first is Simplicity, and this is the 4th card. of the 70 card deck of The Journey of Love by Elena Fairchild. The 4 speaks to the Cancer ruled house of home and family. Home is where you live or where you consider home to be, and family is your mother or your father, your also the people that you share your home with. So that could be your partner, that could be your spouse, that could be your children, that could be your fur baby, that can be your roommates. But the Simplicity card in itself is representative of the fact that you need to take this situation, this period, one day at a time, and that you need to really trust in the goodness of life and trust in the goodness that life has to offer, and that you need to. And it may be a period of time where you have to seek that out. You may have to really look for the joy in life, and that's okay. I mean, we have good times, we have bad times, right? Saturn is still in Sagittarius, making his way through, so it's felt like a difficult time, I'm sure. But trust that everything will be all right. And right now, you need to stay present and stay patient. Really, if you can adopt the Serenity Prayer, that would be a great mantra for you right now. And the second card that you received is Just for a Moment, Joy. That's a pretty hopeful little card right there. It looks like she's just being... I'm a child of the 80s, and it looks like she's doing a Care Bear stare to me. If you know what that is, shout out. This is a 46 card. 4 plus 6 is 10, and that is the house of Capricorn. That's the house of your career, your status, your reputation, your destiny. It's, I like to say William Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage, and I see the 10th house as the stage that you approach the world on and how the world knows you. This card is also speaking about joy, but it's trusting that there is joy in your world and that it's waiting to be found. And the only way that you can find it, or that it can find you, is that you have to let your guard down. And that means you literally have to open up your arms and your heart to the new next adventure that could be coming your way. Trust in the joy of the moment at hand and seek it out if you must. Well, Sagittarius, there's your mid-month November reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart.